U.S. debt gets downgraded by Fitch, which I'm not familiar with them, but I'm assuming they're a firm that grades people, obviously.
Fitch, Moody's, S&P. Yep, all the same thing.
So tell us about what happened, why it's significant, and how it could potentially, hit real estate or influence what's going on in the market.
With Fitch coming in and essentially downgrading the U.S. debt, what it's saying is they're saying, hey, your bonds, and that's what we survive on. Government bonds is the U.S. debt. So, when we need money, we print money by issuing bonds and creating debt. Them downgrading it is saying that it's no longer a AAA investment, it's a AA+. Now that's not that significant, but the last time this happened, the stock market dropped a bunch, it caused a whole bunch of ruckus, and the last time was in 2011. This time, of course, the stock market did drop a little bit, but we doesn't seem to be having the same reaction. But there's an underlying theme here that we as investors, as buyers, as real estate people really need to be paying attention to. And Fitch, what they did was they cited a steady deterioration in the standards of governance. Here's what they mean. They didn't like how politics fought till the last second over the debt ceiling. They don't like this political grandstanding. They don't like our debt growing and growing and growing and just getting bigger and bigger. What it means, though, and what we have to be considering is if the U.S. credit rating falls further, that kills our economy. We go into a strong recession. That's a problem. Now, I don't think this is going to happen, but you need to be aware of the long-term consequences of downgrades like this. They also said that there's nothing being done to rein in the debt, to act in a more professional manner in the government, and they don't believe there's going to be any changes in the presidential race in 2024. Honestly, that makes me a little bit sad because we're like a bunch of drunken sailors out there using our credit cards, just, the frat boys out just blowing money like crazy. The U.S. has to rein this in, otherwise our economy is going to run into a major problem. Also, when they downgrade us, this makes it harder for the U.S. to maneuver, okay? We're the global reserve currency. Everyone buys our debt. But as our debt gets downgraded, if it's not as easy for us to maneuver, it's not as easy for us to deal with this inflation problem. If this gets worse, inflation can go out of control, and all of a sudden we're in a hyperinflation environment. Yes, that is a possibility. I don't think we're going there, but you have to be aware of the possible consequences of this. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. This is another thing that's going to cause higher rates for longer. The reason for that is with that slight credit downgrade, now this is just one of the major agencies, that doesn't help us fight inflation, okay? That makes our debt weaker, okay? That makes the dollar weaker. We need a strong dollar. We need the ability to borrow so we can fight inflation. We have the ability to maneuver. Here's another thing that people are not considering, though. What does this mean for the everyday person? The everyday person, because of this one simple move, means their credit cards just got more expensive. Their home equity lines of credit just got more expensive. Car payments got more expensive. So this did actually cause consumer debt to maybe increase 25 to 50 basis points, which is 0.25 to 0.5%. Now that doesn't sound like much. What if you're a consumer with $30,000 worth of credit card debt? 0.5 point starts to be a lot of money. And this could be the difference between a consumer buying a car. So what's interesting is this is also helping the Fed in their tightening cycle. So the last time the US debt was downgraded was in 2011.
After the last financial crisis.
It was towards the latter part
of
the last financial crisis.
Sounds like something we're going through right now.
History repeats, it rhymes. This is the same thing happening over again. In both cases, the debt limit was raised after negotiations happened, okay? But these negotiations were causing, the general public didn't like it, the stock market didn't like it, it was political grandstanding. It led to stock market declines. So S&P, they downgraded us in 2011 also to the AA+ from their AAA rating. What then happened is that the CEO at the time, his name was Devin Sharma, he was ruthlessly attacked by politicians. And the U.S. Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner at that time said he showed a stunning lack of knowledge based on U.S. fiscal budget math, and he reached an absolute wrong conclusion. So the Treasury Secretary comes out and just starts attacking this person. All these politicians start attacking this person. What happened to that CEO?
Got fired.
That CEO got fired and magically stepped down. Okay, now let's bring it back to 2023. So in 2023, Janet Yellen steps out, starts criticizing. It's the same playbook. Politicians are fighting. Janet Yellen says, Fitch's decision does not change what Americans, investors, and people around the world already know, that U.S. Treasuries remain the world's preeminent safe and liquid asset, and that the American economy is fundamentally strong. What's going to happen to the CEO of Fitch?
He's going to have a conversation with somebody.
Somebody's going to have a conversation with him.
Someone might show up at his front door.
I think we need this type of journalism. That's what creates a strong democracy. We have to disagree with the government. They need to be able to pull punches. So I'm not making light of that in any way, and I actually genuinely enjoy it. And I want our politicians to take two things really seriously. I want political change. The debt ceiling, I think, is not something we should monkey with and work for political gain. And two, this constant grandstanding that we have in politics over issues is getting ridiculous. Let's focus on an awesome country. Let's focus on controlling the debt and just getting our house cleaned up, dealing with inflation. Matter of fact, I wish we were out of most foreign things right now. Just come home, deal with inflation, then we can go save the world. But let's deal with home first.